The second wisest man on earth, known as Solomon, the first, obviously, the Lord Jesus Christ, he brought wisdom from everyday things. I learned this from the word itself, but I also heard it explained further from other Bible teachers. They say that Solomon used trees, animals, things that we see day to day, or at that time where he saw day to day, and he explained truths with maybe how the tree grows, or how the plants they wither but they come back, or how people harvest or grow cattle. And he brought the people, his contemporaries, the queens, the kings that came to him for advice, and he used those things that people might not look as wise to then give advice, to give wisdom to those who seek it. Today, I'm doing something similar. It's an accomplishment, but also after I accomplished it, I saw the value in what just happened in my life. And yes, it's in the title, stretching. I always avoided stretching, being flexible. That's why I'm always tight. That's always aching. I ache in different areas, especially me being a basketball player or now pickleball or other things that I do that's fitness related. I always avoided stretching because stretching hurts. And I just avoided it because I just didn't want to do it. I didn't think it was necessary. But as I'm getting older, I now see the value of stretching because my joints are not the same anymore. The way that my body moves is not the same anymore. And I've heard from fitness influencers or people that study fitness, and they say that stretching will increase the longevity of your fitness life. And I want to be fit for the years to come. Now, this video is not about being fit. This video is about the lessons that I learned with stretching. I want to give you a spoiler alert. I've been able to touch my toes for maybe like a handful of times, but lately I have been able to touch my toes every stretching session. Every time that I'm intentional about stretching before I work out, I touch my toes. And all those years before, even in my youth, I always failed on touching my toes. And then I got into stretching because my trainer was saying, hey, we need to stretch, we need to stretch. It helps with recovery, it helps with this, it helps with that. Then I was able to touch my toes, but not anywhere near where I'm able to touch my toes now. I'm able to hold on to my toes. I'm able to just keep my hands on my toes as I'm stretching down and for a long period of time. And I'm able to do it consistently. But this is where the lessons come into play. About 3 months ago, about the beginning of the year, late January, I saw my body just looking different. And I've always been fit, and I'm like, man, I just need to change my body. And the only way to do that is to exercise. And so I started small. I started doing push-ups, started doing some sit-ups, started doing some lunges, some squats, body weight stuff. But before I did any of that, I stretched. And just like every other stretching, just try to touch my toes. In the beginning, I wasn't even like near like right below my kneecap, so not really close to my toes. But I did it consistently. I did it consistently for up until now, which is around the beginning of April. About 2 or 3 weeks ago is when I started to touch my toes consistently. Now, the lessons that I want to take from stretching that I want to apply to my life, and also I hope that you apply to your life, when you think about now stretching, and also when you think about everyday things can teach you principles. It can teach you the value of what God has already placed in this world, and we just need to gain some wisdom from it. So the first thing is consistency. We want to see the vision come to pass. How we're going to get there is consistency. We need to be consistent. We need to do the thing every single day or whenever we set the time aside so that way we can progress. Now, there's a consistency and then there's a part 2 to consistency. It's learning from the previous time and trying to get better the next go around. Now, if I just was consistent and not try to push my stretching further to down my toes and just stayed around like, oh, I only can reach below my knees, and I just did that every day, I wouldn't have progressed to where I can touch my toes now. I was consistent and I was also pushing the limits. I was getting further, even though it hurts, even though I was in pain, or even though I couldn't get to my goal at that moment. I tried to inch one more stretch than the last. So we can apply this in our life because consistency with intention to get that 1 inch closer to be better than the last time, we're going to compound. We're going to the 30th, the 60th, the 90th, the 100th time that we are being consistent, the way that we're going to look at the end of it is going to be way different than when we started. So us who are visionaries, who want to see the vision come to pass that the Lord has placed in our hearts, are we consistent? And on top of that, are we trying to get better every go around, every next at bat? So that way we can progress. That way we can see what we can improve on. If we stay the same, we're going to get the same results. But if we change with the intention of getting better, then we might and we will see a different result that maybe we desire. So consistency is something that I learned during the stretching process, the stretching journey of being able to touch my toes. Another one is when it hurts, continue to do the thing. When we go on our journey on seeing the vision come to pass, there's going to be some things that are going to hurt. I would label them as obstacles, maybe some roadblocks. Maybe there's a pothole and we just have to go around it. Maybe we have to take a detour. Maybe there's some construction on the road. I will label those things as it hurts. And when I was trying to go from late January to being able to touch my toes, there was a whole couple of months, 3-ish months, 4-ish months of doing something that hurt every other day. I was stretching every other day and it hurt every single time I went for it. So I knew that it was going to be painful. I knew that I was going to be uncomfortable. I knew that I did not like to stretch. But I also know that the end result ends in longevity, ends in being able to touch my toes, and it actually benefits me. So are we going to apply this stretching principle of doing something that hurts, even though you don't want to do it, so that way we can reap the benefits of continue on the journey of doing the things that are uncomfortable and the things that hurt? That's how we can apply this lesson in our lives during this journey. If you don't understand something, are you learning the principle? Are you learning the things, the skills, and knowledges? And that might hurt your mental. You might feel frustrated. Like I'm learning a language, Spanish. I feel frustrated every day that I'm learning because I don't know the language. And you might feel frustrated because you don't know a certain skill or thing that you might need. And I'm sorry if you hear that. That's my laundry that's going in the back. If you know, you know. But anyways, if you are trying to learn something or apply something in your life and you don't know it, it's going to feel frustrating. It's going to feel like it hurts. But are you going to continue on the journey? You have to push through it because we know the benefits after. I know that I'm going to be able to know Spanish at the end of this journey. And I'm going to be that much better. Oh, why do you need to know another language? One is to communicate with my new family. My wife's side of the family predominantly speaks Spanish. I have family members in my family that only speak Spanish. Now I have a whole new world of communication that I could tap into. I also just learned a new language. So that means I put myself through an uncomfortable situation. So now when I go about another uncomfortable situation, I know that I'm capable of seeing it through. So you have to put yourself through these situations because you need to build your confidence to tell yourself, I'm able to go through this. I'm able to see the end of this. I'm able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm able to see it done. So are you willing to learn this lesson from stretching? Doing something that hurts consistently, doing something that's uncomfortable, doing something that you know that you're not going to see the result right then and there. And that in itself shows that you are progressing in the right direction. Because that's what this channel is all about. That's what these videos are about. Me documenting what I'm actually doing now to get to the vision. So that way when you come across this video, you don't have to go about years of trying to figure it out. You can just pop on a 10, 15-minute video and say, wow, I just learned maybe 3-4 years of someone trying to do something, learned it, and then gave it to me in 10 to 15 minutes. You are now saving yourself time if you desire to learn from someone who is going through the journey to see his vision come to pass because you desire to see your vision come to pass. And lastly, so we're doing something consistent. Subpart to the consistency is that we're intentional about progressing after every next attempt to the consistency. So we're trying consistent with the intention or with the mentality to progress. The second lesson that we learned from stretching is doing something that hurts. We can relate this hurting, physical pain, to maybe mental pain. Maybe you're learning a new language like me, or maybe you're learning a new skill. Maybe you're in a new job and things are just frustrating you. You are in an uncomfortable position. These things are what's labeled as it hurts. And now the last thing, if you stop, you're going to lose it. Now, like I said before, I was able to touch my toes maybe a year or two ago when my trainer was telling me to stretch every day. But just like my mentality, I just stopped stretching. And then I had to start from square one. If I want to be able to touch my toes, I have to go through the hurting process again. So I will label this lesson as maintaining. You have to keep stretching. I have to keep trying to touch my toes, or I am touching my toes. I have to keep stretching and pushing myself every single stretching session so that way I can maintain the flexibility. You want to be able to maintain your success when you get to the vision. You have to do steps 1 and 2 consistently. You're going to have to continue to do the thing that the Lord has called us to do. Because if you stop, then you're not going to be able to maintain the blessing. You're not going to be able to maintain the vision. You're not going to be able to maintain. It's very important because you just spent X amount of months, years to get to the vision. And then if you don't keep it going, then all those times that all those years or months of you working hard, now you have to do it again because you stopped. Yeah, there is such thing as breaks. We need a pause sometimes in life. But stopping it's a whole completely different thing. So we're going to use this life lesson from stretching, and we're going to apply it to our journey on seeing the vision come to pass. And to recap, we're going to be consistent with the intention of getting better every single attempt. We're going to push through the pain. We're going to do the things that are comfortable. We're going to do it even if it hurts. And we're not going to stop. We're going to maintain. We're going to keep at it. And you might be, dang, but that sounds impossible. All things are possible through Christ. If we lean into him, if we derive our strength from the vine, we can do all things through Christ. So get your mindset of giving up and saying that's hard, and tap in to the mindset of someone who wants to succeed, someone who has said yes to the call from the Lord and who has faith. Start replacing the doubt with faith. So this is the life lessons that I learned from stretching. And I hope this was valuable to you. I hope that you're going to apply some of these things that I learned from stretching into your success journey, into your vision journey, into saying yes to the Lord journey. And watch in due time. I love the verse, Galatians 6:9, one of my top 3 verses in the whole Bible. Galatians 6 verse 9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, because in the proper time we'll reap a harvest if we do not give up." If you keep at it, just like me, I was able to touch my toes. If you keep at it, you will. That sounds like a promise to me. You will reap a harvest if you do not give up. Maintain. We got this. Let's keep going. No matter what part of the journey you're in right now, if you're in the first part and just, I need to be consistent, or you're in the second part, I'm doing things that hurt, I'm challenging myself, or if you're in the, not the last part, because it's the maintaining part, it's the we're going to keep it on forever and ever part. If you're on the maintaining part, make sure that you're deriving your strength from the Lord and you have faith. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for staying to this part of this video. And I am sorry about the noises that you might have heard. However, hopefully it didn't distract you for why I even created this video. It was to give you value, is to give you some tips and wisdom from my stretching journey, so that way you could apply it to your journey on seeing the vision come to pass. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.